Have you ever thought about how websites like Vercel do this custom context menu, where if I right click on this, we have this copy logo, whatever, and this is not what you get by default when you right click. If I come here and I right click, you see we have this default context menu, but in this logo we have something like this. And there are other websites that do something like this. For example, Google Drive, if you right click on a folder, this is not the default context menu that you get. I'm going to show you how to achieve something similar on this simple website that I have here. So here we have this context menu, and we want to display this context menu when you right click on this logo. So currently if you right click, you see the default context menu, but instead we want this to show. So I have this simple code here. I have the normal links, I have the image here and the company link, and I have this context menu which I'm going to show when you right click. In my CSS, I have this context menu. Currently the context menu is showing, but I'm going to change this to none. So now it doesn't show. Now the most important trick in achieving this is listening to the context menu event. So I have this logo image, which is the image element where I have the logo. I'm going to listen to the context menu event. Now this event is triggered when you right click. Here I'm going to get the event, and then I'm going to do event.prevent default. This will prevent the default behavior, which is the default context menu. So now if I come here and I right click, no matter how much I right click, it's no longer showing that default context menu. So after preventing the default behavior, I can come here to say context menu.style.display equals block. Now if I come here and refresh, when I right click on this, you can see that this now shows. But I don't want it showing here. I want it to show at the point where I right click. So with that, I'm going to track the current position of the cursor, and I can find the information for the current position of the cursor on event.pageX and page-Y. So here, after I update the display property to block, I'm going to say context menu.style.left equal to event.pageX plus px. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the top, and here I'm going to do page Y. And with this, if I come back here, when I right click here, you can see the context menu shows just at the point where the cursor is. If I refresh again and I right click at this point, well, sorry, I didn't right click at the right point, but if I right click at this point, you can see the context menu is now there. Now, one more thing I want to do is when you click outside this context menu, it should hide. Here I can say that context menu.add event listener click. So when you click on the context menu, I have my event, and I'll just call event.stop propagation so that that click event doesn't propagate to the document. And then here I can have document add event listener click. So when you click on the actual document or any other thing in the document, then here I can call context menu display none. Let me show you why I have this line here. Before I do that, let me just add some padding to the context menu. So now if I right click, you see we have the context menu here, but then if I click on this point of the context menu, you can see the context menu disappears, and that's because the events from the context menu propagates to the document, and because we have document click display none, the context menu disappears. So with this, I'm able to prevent the click events from propagating to the document, so that way only when I click outside the context menu will the context menu be hidden. So now if I refresh again, if I right click on this, you see we have this here. Now if I click all around this context menu, the event doesn't propagate to the document, but when I click outside the context menu, now it disappears. I can go back here to remove the padding. Okay, so now I have something simple like this, where we have our context menu when you right click on the logo. So this is how platforms like Vercel are able to customize a context menu that appears when you right click, and it makes their brand resources like the logo downloadable, or you can head directly to the guidelines, the homepage, or to the products that they offer. I hope you enjoyed this JavaScript tip. Please subscribe if you did, and like this video so you can see more content like this.